Hi, my name is Yelman Ainsworth. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of A-PTV. Today I got Katherine Kemp from ZWEI. ZWEI is an interior designer and architect who's done some very cool and creative things, a lot in hospitality. The one that sticks out for me at least is the Code Black freestanding pod you have at Freshwater Place that's been award-winning and globally recognized. That's been an incredible project on sustainability, on activation, and all that sort of stuff, which has been a great example of where an engaged architect early enough can create magic at the end of the project, which is something to be very proud of. We're going to talk about all the trends and where it's coming from, where it's going, particularly around design and sustainability, which you seem to be very passionate about. Thank you very much for coming on. Katherine, if you were a planner for the city of Melbourne, what would your first and biggest priority be?
Look, I think at the moment it's very much about people returning into the city and re-engaging with the CBD. And the City of Melbourne's very proactive on many different sectors, but in terms of the built environment, there really needs to be a focus on sustainability and almost a rewilding of the city, returning the green spaces to the city, allowing for natural connections, and not just park spaces, but spaces within the urban environment that are green and feel connected to nature. That would be...
But how do you do that in a commercial city where rents are where they are, land values are where they are? How do you make that commercially viable?
I think it's about engaging with the public spaces. So things like Elizabeth Street used to be a river or a body of water, and if we could return it to the watercourse and then provide these green spaces around it where we can come out at lunchtime, sit down on grass and reconnect, or even just walk down a natural sort of watercourse, how incredible would that be in the city?
That is a cool idea.
It's so cool.
It would be a nightmare of traffic though.
Well, what about if we had different modes of transport in the city? So walk, train, ride, and then cars. The cars have a place, very important, but if we could create a little bit more balance in the city, make easier access in and out of the city, particularly to the south, would be incredible. Because I know I would ride more, just simply because it's easier and it's safer.
Yeah. So ZWEI Architects is an interior designer and architect as well. Yep. You have a pretty big passion and track record in retail, particularly boutique, smaller F&B retail. What are some of the retail trends in hospitality that are here to stay?
Look, I think hospitality, the core of hospitality is about service. It's about connecting to your customer, giving your customer an experience. And from our point of view, it's very much about understanding the client's vision, but creating a narrative and giving people a sense of personality around a space. Why are we here? What are we doing here? What's on offer here? And rolling that all together and creating an experience that's immersive and enjoyable. And we're allowed to connect across those spaces like you and I are. We're just sitting over a table, having a conversation, and those sorts of moments are really important.
And incorporating this sort of character into the experience.
Yes, it doesn't all have to be new and fresh. It can be really stripped back, and there's very much a return to singular spaces that don't have a lot in them, but they're raw and they're quite connected.
Yeah, so what is the new fresh fit outs? Where are they headed towards?
Look, I think again there's a real focus on sustainability. People, particularly the younger generation, millennials, are very focused on sustainability. They want to feel good when they engage with a service or a purchase, and they feel like they're doing something good for themselves, but they're doing something good for the planet as well. And that really needs to be built into the whole project ethos, that this is something that we see front and centre, and we're going to pursue it right through the core of the project. And the client has to be on board, the builder has to be on board, and obviously the designer as well.
Best examples of that?
I think from our point of view, working on Acre at Burwood Brickworks was very eye-opening because we had to meet a sustainable credential. So that was really hard work. And then we did a self-driven project Citizen as part of Melbourne Design Week, where it was a coffee outlet and completely sustainable, as absolutely sustainable as possible.
That's one on South Bank?
That was on South Bank,
yeah,
so it was
cool.
A temporary pop-up. Yeah. And that was, it was a lot of blood, sweat and tears. And Code Black Coffee came aboard and they helped us out too. So they were, partnering with us and the builder, and everyone got involved. And just before COVID hit. So we got it up, we got it happening, and then we had to shut it down.
But it's been a huge success now that it's open.
It was a bit of a game changer for us. It made us realise that if we're passionate, the clients will get on board, the builders will get on board. You just need to drive something forward and really engage with it.
Wow. For any retailers or hospitality tenants trying to build a fit out on a budget, what are some of the tips you'd be giving them?
Look, I think at the moment with the building industry, it's very hard to work to a budget. We're just finding it's heartbreaking in a way that you come with a budget, you think that's going to work, and then 6 months later, when you're ready to build, suddenly things are, going crazy. Can't get supply of things. It becomes difficult. But in terms of delivering a reasonable cost for a fit out, I think clients need to be open-minded, that the designer is going to deliver on a budget. They need to be flexible in the way they might approach things. They need to be able to rethink outcomes and not approach things that they want maybe a gold-plated fit out. They're ready to actually think about what's possible. What could we do? Let's just start from the basics.
But expensive is not necessarily better.
It's not. The best projects we've done have been the projects that have been on a very tight budget, and it's made us really, sit up and think, how do we do this? And the client's on board and engaged, and that delivers a wonderful outcome. When the client wants gold plated and we haven't got a great budget, it's always really hard.
What's the most rewarding project you've done in your career?
I think I'd probably go back to Citizen. I think that was something that was beyond a project. It wasn't just an outcome for a client, it was something we were all doing together, and that felt like it was our project, and that was so satisfying.
For any landlords watching this and they have a retail property that's vacant, what could a landlord do to make their shop more lettable?
I think they need to be flexible on price, getting people in and giving them a reasonable go at taking the tenancy and making it work. So how could that deal be structured that it works for everyone? And then in terms of a tenancy...
Just on that, that's not a scripted answer.
No.
I didn't tell it to say it. I think rents need to go higher.
Okay. Well, I mean, people all have to make money. Oh, no, but everyone has to make $1. But how could that be done in a way that works for everyone? You're not just signing up to this deal that lasts for a certain amount of time at a certain, people get scared. They won't take the punt. But what if you said, look, for the first year while you get on your feet, we're going to give you this deal, and then it's going to go up based on what you're earning or what's coming into the tenancy. How could we do this and work together on delivering something that's really exciting? So there's that. And also in terms of it, we walk into a lot of shells and go, right guys, what could we do? Flexibility within it. So the services, we get a say on where things go, perhaps, where things are landed in the tenancy, and the base builder, architect has actually thought about how the tenancy is going to be used. So you don't rip things out in order to replace them and put them somewhere else. The amount of things we've had to move around becomes so difficult.
It's avoidable with some planning.
It's so avoidable. In that early stage, when you're building a building, how can we make this retail tenancy work? And so often we say to clients, let us come in at those early stages, even when the building's being built. We'll give you some advice. We'll tell you how it could work. And then it's efficient because the base builder knows what to do. And we've actually worked it out according to the retail layout as well. So no one has to do things twice.
A lot of cafes that you guys, ZWEI, designed, and a lot of cafes in Melbourne, all about the exposed brick, the raw wood. We've kind of moved on a little bit from there. It's been 10 years the same. What's the next thing that we're going to be seeing?
Yeah, I think there's still a sense of stripping things back. What do we have to put in? Considering every material and making sure that we're making the right choice in what we're putting in there and it's intentional. We're not just making something gold-plated for the sake of being gold-plated. So that, I think, is quite important. I think biophilic spaces, green spaces, connection to nature are really important as well.
This whole sustainability thing is real.
It's huge. And it's being driven by clients and really the end user. When people sort of start, you look at the federal election, don't want to get political, but the independents have a lot to say and they're getting traction because they're providing an alternative. So, and they're really putting climate change, sustainability front and centre. Yeah. We've all got to do it. We've all got to play our part. So those sorts of considerations are really important to hospitality spaces, and that's just going to grow and grow and grow. So at the moment we're limited as to what materials we can use, where does it come from, materials tracking, pathways, how do we create an end use to a material as well. All of those things are really, we're dealing with people who are working in a very scripted construct at the moment. But there's people out there who are breaking free of that and allowing things to be reused, rethought. How do we reinvent this and actually create efficiencies and save money by not just putting things in and ripping things out? We're actually using what we've got in a really thoughtful way.
The most heartbreaking thing is to walk into a shop with a full fit out and then as if it never existed.
Yeah, I understand things evolve and change, and often you're tied to a 5-year turnaround. But if we can thoughtfully, after 5 years, repurpose things, wouldn't that be fantastic? And it would save the client a lot of money.
And time.
Exactly.
Time is everything.
Yeah.